Let's bring in Benchmark Managing Director of Semiconductor Equity Research, David Williams. And, David, here's the thing. You raised your target. By the way, congratulations. Did you think it would hit it this quickly, though?
I didn't expect it to come this quickly, but it certainly is. It just shows the momentum that we've had in the space.
So how do you deal with that? Again, the name it keeps popping, right? Here's $1.20 to $54, and it just, to your point, it keeps popping. But we're going to bring up another chart because how does someone value an unprofitable company? How are you able to even put a target on these? I mean, you've got IonQ, Qubits, Rigetti, you've got buys on them, you've got targets on them, but we can see sales are still going to be negative even next year.
Sure. Yeah. There's a lot of different ways that you can value, and it's always very challenging. But we think one of the cleanest ways to think about it is, what is the market size of that opportunity? If we think that quantum computing could be a $100 billion type market, and you give 10% to one company, that's $10 billion. And can you put a 2 or 3 times sales multiple on that in a couple of years? And I think that's very fair to do. And so it's more about where the revenue growth could be, and we're always paying for those forward earnings, that forward growth. And so I think that's a fair way to look at it today.
All right. Well, your target was 50. Wall Street thought you were nuts. Stock is trading at 56. We'll brace ourselves for your next target. But I saw among your buys you have power integration. What I love about this is on Friday we have another one of my favorite tech guests, Ivana Delevska, and she says she liked the stock. It spiked big time, but it's still down a lot. What do you like about this one?
Look, I think power integrations is probably one of the better values in our space right now. There's everything from management all the way through their product portfolio. But even this morning, or yesterday, excuse me, they had a new release about their 1250-volt GaN solution for the data center, and they have the only product across the industry that can go up to 1700 volts, and that's going to be critical, especially in this transition to 800 volt in the data center. But it also, at some point, begins to cannibalize some of the silicon carbide content that we've seen that drive companies like onsemi over the last several years. And so it still takes some time for that to happen, but we see that creeping in and beginning to cannibalize some of that silicon carbide content.
Speaking of which, we'll let you go. A little less than a minute, though. You do have some buys on analog devices, Cirrus Logic. I used to call it Crusher back in the day. It was unstoppable and onsemi. These are names that periodically over the last 20, 25 years have had big streaks up, big streaks down. What's propelling them right now?
I think it's the same thing that's driving the rest of the market. It's the exposure to AI and just understanding the size of that market, that opportunity there. And it is beginning to materialize. And I think we're just, as Beth had mentioned, talking about getting into the networking tsunami that's coming. I think there's a real realization there that as the data center grows and we get more and more compute, we need to power those data centers. And that's a real challenge today. And so anything power semi-related is going to drive that. And we like on the connectivity side, we like Max Linear as opposed to maybe an A-Lab in our space that we would really, that we think is tremendously undervalued and be probably the top pick in our space today.
What's the symbol?
MXL.
Okay. Hey, David, congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All righty.